Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight is going to be pretty eventful. We have a lot of different things to talk about. It was pretty difficult to narrow down all of the topics tonight because so much has happened today, but it's going to be a fun time. So tonight we are going to follow up on Shazam because, of course, the movie released last week, and I did talk about the initial box office numbers, but now, of course, that we're going into week 2, there's been some updates that I wanted to at least briefly talk about. I feel like Shazam really fell off of a cliff interest-wise, and a lot of people just kind of gave up on the movie because, of course, when someone like James Gunn announces that the universe his character exists in is just going to kind of be erased and his future isn't going to matter, why would people go and waste their money to watch this film? But after an abysmal opening weekend, Shazam has now plummeted yet again in its second weekend at the box office. This was a movie that never really got off the ground. It never, it's not like weekend 1 was really great. I believe that I was reading it dropped by like 80%, which is already awful compared to its initial launch weekend numbers, so we're going to be chatting about that quickly. Just a little follow-up. We're going to be talking about Daisy Ridley, an actress I personally do not have any love for. I've seen her in a couple of things. After, of course, the sequel trilogy for Star Wars released, I tried to watch some other movies that she was in, and I tried to give her a chance in the films afterwards, because sometimes really good actors are thrown into really shitty situations. I personally have not seen a movie that I liked her in. I didn't like her in Ophelia. I didn't like her in the what was that movie that she was with Tom Holland in? I didn't like that one. Of course, I did not like the sequels for Star Wars, and now she has revealed, and this is a couple weeks old, but I still wanted to read it, revealed that she was totally rejected from films because of the Star Wars sequels, and basically Hollywood hates her. I mean, we've heard this before, and we're kind of hearing it again, and I wanted to briefly touch on this because it was sent to me a couple of times. I think it's hilarious. She's just simply not that good of an actress, and maybe Hollywood just didn't want to work with her because she's not very good at her job. She kind of reminds me of a Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart kind of plays one type of character, very awkward feeling to just any role that she has. And it works for her because now she's in movies where that's just kind of how the characters are. But Daisy Ridley just kind of has that, resting bitch face that isn't really good in any role, or at least that she's been in so far. We're going to be talking about Silent Hill 2. Now, I've wanted to stay hopeful when it came to this game, and this remake because many of us love Silent Hill. We don't want content to be bad, and we hadn't heard that much about it. But now we are hearing from the writer, the series writer, is saying that the Silent Hill 2 remake will upset people. And this is not something, that we want to hear. Most of the remakes that we have seen over the past couple of years have had problems with things like censorship. Of course, most recently I've been having to talk about Resident Evil. And to hear the writer just come out and completely admit that this remake cannot be done without upsetting people is just major red flags everywhere. This is one of those franchises that I would rather not have be remade if they are going to fuck with it. I love a good remake, do not get me wrong. I love to be able to re-experience content that I've previously loved that might be slightly different. But yeah, hearing the series writer admit it's gonna upset people is definitely not good. We're also gonna be talking about the brand new, recently, today actually, announced X-Files reboot. Apparently, there is going to be an X-Files reboot with a diverse cast. in development from Black Panther's writer, which also is a lot of red flags. Like I've said a trillion times at this point, things like diversity, having diverse casts are not bad things, but the problem is that this is how it's being announced. They're not announcing that it's like this new take on X-Files that old fans are gonna love and bring new people into the franchise. No, it's being marketed as a diverse reboot. Worst marketing that you can do, in my opinion. And of course, this is going to kind of lead into a previous topic that I have talked about where Gillian Anderson has, addressed if she would return to X-Files. And while I do love her because she was great in X-Files, she did previously address like X-Files sexism and basically said that she would only ever return if they changed the franchise, which of course was very sad for a lot of people to hear. And yeah, we'll probably end up chatting about that. Also, I have a couple of small side topics. The Last of Us 1, listen, this is slowly becoming Skyrim. We have Last of Us 1, we have the Last of Us 1 remasters, Last of Us 1 remakes, PC ports, different console ports, and now they finally released the PC port for it, and it is not going good. The Steam reviews are currently mostly negative. It runs like trash. It is just another shitty PC port, and of course, Naughty Dog is being absolutely roasted for it. If you are only going to have one freaking product, and you are going to milk that one product, at least make the ports good. It's like Skyrim. I bought every version of it, remakes, remasters, it doesn't matter. I would buy anything Skyrim, and I have purchased everything Skyrim for the most part. And they all run good, right? There's no major technical problems where they get review bombed because it runs like shit. That doesn't happen. At least Bethesda knows how to make a decent product. But Naughty Dog really doesn't understand that. So those are the topics that we are going to be discussing tonight. Welcome on in, everyone. I hope that your night is going good. We'll probably start with Shazam. It's going to be relatively quick, but I did want to still cover it because I like to do follow-ups to topics, and it's kind of funny to laugh at. Can't wait for The Last of Us Part 2 remaster next. I do think that they will do something with it. I don't necessarily know if it will be a remaster because there's absolutely no fucking point of a remaster, but I think that when season 2 of The Last of Us comes out right around that time, and that should be in probably 2 years, I think that they'll do some kind of Last of Us DLC or Last of Us 2 DLC, because they haven't done anything like that so far. And then after that season releases, they will announce a Last of Us 3, which honestly I personally don't even really care about. Not that big of a fan of Last of Us 2, as you all know. A Last of Us 3, do I think it could redeem the franchise? Probably not. I like to imagine that The Last of Us 1 is just The Last of Us 1. I try to think that it's just, there's only one. It's just The Last of Us. Because 2 was just so god-awful. Hello, how are you today? Doing good? I hope that you are doing good. VR Last of Us? Abby Simulator. Oof. I hate golf games. I really don't want to have to play a VR golf game. You know what? Now that I think about it, that actually doesn't sound too terrible. It sounds like it could be kind of fun, I guess. It's literally just fucking Wii Sports. I played Wii Sports. Abby Golf spinoff. I would have so much... Okay. We would all be pissed at first, right? I would have... I don't want to necessarily say respect, right? But I would fucking love if Naughty Dog did that. It would be such a fucking slap to fans. But it would be so funny if they actually had the fucking guts to release an Abby Golf Simulator. I would just have to give them props for having the guts, because they know how much backlash they would face over that. Thank you, Purple, for the $5 super chat. Your content has been on fire lately. Thank you for the support, and thank you for watching. Last of Us 3 sees Abby move on from golf to baseball bats. She's definitely got to have a weapon upgrade in the next one. I'm sad about Last of Us. I really enjoyed The Last of Us 1. I never thought that it was like the best game I've ever played. People were really simping hard for The Last of Us 1 when it came out, saying it was like the game of the decade, one of the best games to ever release. I never really thought it was that good, but it was very enjoyable. Waifu golf game? One day they'll make it. That'd take big balls. If they did that, I would have to give them some fucking props. I really, really would. What's this about Silent Hill 2 now? Very bad news. We'll cover it in a little while. It's very... lots of red flags. Series writers saying that the remake will upset people. But alright guys, let's get into the first topic, which is going to be Shazam. Now, last week when Shazam released, the numbers for it weren't great. It's not like this movie launched to absolutely fantastic numbers. It did even worse than the first movie, and honestly, I do feel like that has to do with James Gunn admitting that this movie wasn't really gonna go anywhere. I mean, the writer of this full-on admitted that, like, there are no active plans for Shazam 3, and it would have to do amazing to get a follow-up, and James Gunn had said that, like, this character doesn't even really have a place in the future of the DCU, and whenever people hear that, it makes them question why they would even swipe their credit card to see it. I know I feel that way personally, and a lot of other people have voiced that as well. But after the abysmal opening weekend, Shazam! Fury of the Gods has plummeted in its second weekend at the box office, and this is hilarious because it wasn't even doing that good. So hearing it plummeting is basically plummeting into fucking negative territory. It says in its opening weekend, the film grossed a paltry $30.1 million at the domestic box office, a far cry from the first film's $53.5 million opening weekend box office haul back in April 2019. There are some people sitting there going, well, you know, 23 million isn't that big of a difference. It really is in this case, though. This movie is not even going to make back its budget. It says things did not get better for the film in its second weekend, as the film saw a horrific 69% drop at the box office. And I actually heard that they thought that it was more than that, and some of these numbers were overestimated. It says it only grossed an estimated $9.3 million in its second weekend. The film has grossed $45.9 million domestically and another $56.1 million internationally for a global gross of $102 million. And this film cost, I believe it was $150 million, right around there, or like $152. So they are almost $50 million off, and they're only making $9.3 million going into just the second weekend. There's no way that this is going to make its budget back. Never mind be considered successful, because for these companies, they have to see like almost double the budget to go, you know what, that did good. It says the box office analyst OMB Reviews shared his thoughts on why the film is doing so poorly at the box office. The film really isn't so bad as to lose that kind of money. I've seen much worse films than Shazam 2. That being said, it's not a good film, and it is definitely not a great film. I personally was not blown away by it. I just felt like all of it was very mediocre. I didn't think it was the worst movie that I've ever seen, but it was like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't something that I would watch again, that's for sure. And he continued, and so you add on to the fact that they have brought in someone like James Gunn, and that he has gone out of his way to say stupid things like, yeah, Henry Cavill's gone, this person's gone, etc. Why would anyone actually want to show up to these movies and support them when you know Why would I want to invest that time and money when I know already the plan going forward, or at the very least, who is not on the plan going forward, which is exactly what I said. Why would I want to spend money to see a movie when someone like James Gunn has yapped on and on about how these characters have no future and they're not part of the bigger plans? I don't want to, spend my time watching a movie for a character who's never going to show back up again. It is unfortunate, but I think that this movie had a lot of problems behind it. This is the first big release since all of the Henry Cavill controversy started. I don't want to call it drama. I don't even really want to call it controversy. But since Henry Cavill was, fired, we've had like, 2 movies released, which is Black Adam and this. And Black Adam, of course, brought Henry Cavill back. So since then, this is the only film that we've gotten. Like, this movie, I think, would have done better if we also didn't have all of that going on. But people are pissed at James Gunn. People are pissed about the future of this. It's disappointing to hear that so many of these actors and these stories are not going to matter in a year or 2 years or even 5 years. It's not part of their plan. It also says, to the reviewer's point, Gunn made it clear that the upcoming The Flash film would reset the DCU, implying that characters like Shazam would more than likely not be part of his new vision for the DCU. I am kind of tapped out until The Flash releases, even this film. I wasn't really looking forward to it. I wasn't extremely hyped over it, and it was just kind of like a movie to pass the time. I'm primarily interested to see what The Flash is really going to do. They're saying it's gonna do a lot, and it's gonna introduce characters, and it's gonna reset the DCU. There's a lot of question marks at this point, but The Flash has been delayed like 6 or 7 times, and who knows if it will even release this time around. It also says that while announcing the first chapter of his DCU slate and what it would look like, he said, first we have Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic film that I really love that resets the entire DCU. Like, why would anyone be excited? On top of him announcing that Shazam would be off on his own, but would connect very well, something that doesn't really make sense in that The Flash would be resetting the DCU going forward. DC, of course, has split ways with The Rock following a poor performance at the box office for his Black Adam film. There's just a lot of red flags with the DCU right now. I ultimately hope that, yes, they do find a way to fix the DCU and make these characters' stories make sense, I guess is the best way to say it, and they aren't all completely useless going forward. But I totally understand why people are tapped out for Shazam. It's the same reason, honestly, why I was pretty freaking tapped out. It wasn't awful. It also wasn't great, though. I just hope that The Flash releases. When is it that technically supposed to release next? This summer? I hope that whenever it's supposed to release next, it actually fucking releases, because I just want to see what all of this hype is for. You know, why James Gunn is throwing all of these big actors and characters away, all to make room for the freaking Flash. I mean, they've said it's a masterpiece, and it's like the best movie that they've ever seen, because of course they're trying to get people excited for it. I personally don't even really have that much excitement for it. I just want to know what they're doing. If I could just read a synopsis on it right now, I'd be content without even actually watching the movie. But yeah, after the abysmal opening weekend, Shazam has plummeted in its second weekend at the box office, just headed straight off of a freaking cliff. So yeah, fun times. Next we will chat about Daisy Ridley really quick. Everyone's favorite actress. Who do you guys like more? Let me put up a poll. Let me put up a poll. Who do you like more? Daisy Ridley or Brie Larson? All right, Chad. Very. I spelled more wrong. Whatever. Who cares if more is spelled wrong? Who do you like more? Brie Larson or Daisy Ridley? I don't like either, but for me, I guess I'm gonna have to go with Daisy Ridley. I do not like either. Or I guess the better question would have been Rey Skywalker or Captain Marvel. I gotta give it to Daisy. In context of the actors. Because Daisy Ridley is controversial, but not as controversial as Brie Larson. But for characters, I'd have to give it to Captain Marvel, because who the fuck cares about Captain Marvel in any story she's a part of? You know, I care much more about Star Wars, so... yeah. 83% for Daisy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I guess we're all on the same page. I don't like either of them. I am not a fan of either. They're both stuck up and snobby. It seems like Daisy Ridley's being a little bit less stuck up and snobby now that she can't get work. But yeah, this is from a couple of weeks ago, but I did have it sent to me, so I thought that we could cover it really quickly. It's not like it was time sensitive or anything, but Giant Freaking Robot put out this article. Daisy Ridley reveals she was totally rejected because of the Star Wars sequels. She said that she has felt unemployable after the release of The Rise of Skywalker. I can't honestly imagine why, guys. A mediocre actress who played the main character in a sequel trilogy that completely fucked up a franchise going back how many fucking decades at this point? It says Daisy Ridley says that she was essentially unemployable immediately following the release of the final to-date Star Wars movie The Rise of Skywalker in 2019, implicitly because of her part in the colossally successful but controversial trilogy of films. According to Entertainment Weekly, the actress was rejected by multiple jobs, saying there were actually loads of things that I auditioned for at the beginning of the year and didn't get any of them, and that she thought, aw, no one wants to employ me. Now, I mentioned in the kind of pre-stream chat, I have not seen Daisy Ridley in anything that I have liked. She was in that film with Tom Holland. I didn't like her in that. I didn't like her in Ophelia. I, of course, did not like her in the sequel trilogy. What else has she been in? Honestly, I think that that's all that she's been in over the past few years. Ridley content, movies, TV shows, list of movies and TV shows. I think that that's really... yeah, Chaos Walking, I didn't like. Ophelia, I didn't like. And she's been in, like, almost nothing else since then except for Murder on the Orient Express, but that was in 2017. I'm personally not a big fan of her. She gives me Kristen Stewart vibes, but in the worst possible way. And we also had heard rumors back when the Star Wars movies were filming that she was very difficult behind the scenes to work with. So maybe it is not just because of the controversy following the Star Wars trilogy. Maybe it's because creatives had heard about how difficult she was behind the scenes, and then they decided, you know what, we're not going to work with her right now. Maybe in a few years. And well, it's been a few years and she's still got nowhere. It says, sadly, Daisy Ridley's experience in having difficulty finding work post-Star Wars is far more common than not. For me, it's not that she was part of this one trilogy that was controversial. I say this all the time with controversial actors. Sometimes actors sign up for jobs and then they get roped in, and then 3 or 4 years later, they're perfectly fine and they're perfectly normal once that contract has worn off and they know that they're not going to work with that company anymore. Sometimes, yes, you do get hired by companies and you basically have to become a brand new person. You have to follow their PR stunts. I've talked about this even recently with the Disney princesses who are now, you know, Holly Bailey, who's playing Ariel, Yara, I do not remember her last name, but she's playing Tinkerbell. These actresses who are basically being pushed by Disney to go into these interviews to push their messaging. In a couple of years, they might, you know, turn on Disney and go, you know what, that was not great for me and my career, like Daisy is doing. But she hasn't really changed over these past few years. It says, though, meanwhile, both Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher's experiences paralleled Daisy Ridley's for years. Fisher struggled to find acting roles and began a lucrative career as a screenwriter and uncredited script doctor. And then it's talks about Mark Hamill was typecast by his work in Star Wars. While yes, these things are true, I feel like a difference with people like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher was that they just wanted to go in a different direction. It's just as simple as that. It seems to me that Daisy Ridley might be very picky, or hey, maybe absolutely no one wants to work with her, but she has been in two things since. But to me, those are kind of different situations. Mark Hamill, very successful. Carrie Fisher was also very successful. It's not like the same situation at all. But yeah, this isn't really too big of a topic, but I still wanted to mention it. I think it's kind of funny. I hope that she finds what she's looking for, but I don't like her as an actress. I don't know if that's really a hot take. I personally have never seen a lot of praise for her acting. Yes, I will forever remember her as Rey, and thinking about the awful sequel trilogy, she will always be that character in my mind, but I would still watch something with her in it if I thought it was good. Just like Chaos Walking, I watched it, I gave it a chance, I just didn't like it, and I didn't like her in it. I still tried to enjoy it though, which was very, very difficult to do. But yeah, Daisy Ridley has revealed she has been totally rejected from Hollywood because of the Star Wars sequels. I can't say that I'm all that surprised. There were so many problems with this. Also, she had went into interviews for these movies and she was one of the people that were trashing critics and saying that haters are gonna hate, basically, which was also a massive freaking problem. But yeah, that's all that I really had to discuss with that. The poll, 41 votes, 80% Daisy Ridley, 20% Brie Larson. Now, I'm going to raise another question like I had mentioned. So 80-20. Who do you like more? Rey Skywalker. Hold on. Rey Skywalker. Or Captain Marvel. Now, for me, like I said, for actresses, I would say I like Daisy Ridley more. But for characters, in this poll, I would have to vote for Captain Marvel because I don't give a fuck about the Captain Marvel character, and I don't care about any project she's really part of all that deeply now. And with Star Wars, I wish Star Wars was better, so I'm just gonna have to go with Captain Marvel, which is not, they're both shits. All of it's shit. There's no correct option here. But if I could save one, if I could save the Star Wars sequel trilogy and just save Star Wars, or I could save Captain Marvel, I would be saving Star Wars. So that's my mentality. Please word it, who do you hate more? Okay. All right. We'll do who do you hate more? I'll reword it. Who do you hate more? Rey Skywalker or Captain Marvel? I'd have to say I hate Rey Skywalker more. Because, again, yeah. Vara's female logic is flawless. Yeah, fuck Rey Skywalker. I hate Rey more. Just because I'd rather save Star Wars. It's just how it goes. It's just how it is. Oh, I wanted to show you guys The Gamer article. Over the past couple of weeks, I have had to talk a lot about The Gamer because they have been they have been releasing some outstandingly stupid articles, and this one recently released, Apex Legends proves that swimsuit cosmetics don't need to be sexualized. For years, people have been begging EA and Respawn to put out swimsuits in Apex Legends. People have been begging for Loba swimsuits and Lifeline swimsuits, and on the men to get nice, cool cosmetics as well. And they decided to finally do it, to fulfill people's requests, hopefully make a shit ton of money. But instead of putting them in swimsuits, most of them are just in like shorts and t-shirts, and one of them, Rampart, is in a full bodysuit. It is the worst set of cosmetics I have probably ever seen in a video game, and that's saying a lot. And you have people like The Gamer spinning this as they put out great cosmetics, and it's even better because they're not sexualized. What is the point? Yeah, what is the point to put out this collection if you're not going to give people any kind of fan service? And I'm not even just talking about only sexualized content. People wanted swimsuits. None of these represent freaking swimsuits. The fear that the Apex Legends Sun Squad collection event was going to be deliriously horny and present all of our favorite heroes in the skimpiest outfits appears to have been unfounded. Absolutely nobody but you had the fear that, oh no, this collection might have slightly sexualized costumes. Absolutely nobody was worried about this, except for this journalist. However, a small minority of vocal fans are angry about the distinct lack of bulges and camel toes. People are upset because they put out trash cosmetics, and these are cosmetics that they expect you to spend like $100 on. Okay, it's not like they're just like, oh, here's, you know, a $3 skin. We're talking about $20 freaking skins here. It says players can soon earn/purchase a selection of themed cosmetics for the summer, despite it still being in the month of March and a smidge nippy outside. I mean, yeah, I think that their timing was really weird. I feel like they should have waited another like 2.5 months, but it says the real world remains cold and unwelcoming, but Apex Legends is bigging up the party and giving players an opportunity to lose themselves for a little bit. This just reads as a giant fucking advertisement for EA, Respawn, Apex Legends. And I like Apex. I've played it for years at this point. I have spent money on it. Honestly, over the past like half year, I haven't even really played it that much because I've just been playing Warzone when I want an FPS. But I've liked Apex. I have enjoyed it. But I hate articles like this. This is why I do not trust game journalists, because they're not actually reporting on things that consumers feel strongly about. They're not being like, hey, people are really upset over this, or this isn't what people expected. Instead of doing that, no, they're just saying, like, if you expected more from this event, you're just horny and weird. Their name is The Gamer, yet all they do now is attack gamers. It says, though, you can throw down some pennies and grab these skins. Skins in this game are not fucking cheap. These shits ain't pennies. They're $100 most likely to get all of the skins, because that's how every other collection event works. It says, I grew up seeing... Oh, here we go. Oh, no. I grew up seeing swimsuit cosmetics in weeaboo RPGs and other such games that put the male gaze front and center, often focusing on boobs and butts, even if the actual outfits we saw being worn made no sense for the characters or world they claim to exist in. Apex Legends' new event isn't avoiding the potential sexualization of its growing cast. It merely represents a wholesome ideology it has been pushing for years now. Yes, guys, in a game where you shoot people, you stun people, you freeze people, you throw people out of fucking cannons, you shoot rocket launchers at them, where you can slice them up with swords, this event has a wholesome ideology. Come on. My brother, please chill out. It says that Respawn's live service shooter boasts a sprawling cast of characters from different backgrounds, gender identities, sexualities, and even planes of sentience, given that few of the cast are spooky ghost robot dudes. This is true. I mean, Apex Legends has been inclusive. There are characters that have backstories regarding their sexualities and stuff, but it's never been in your face, which is why I personally have played it, because it's a fun game. But it says, while you'll find a handful of cutesy bikinis and accessories across new cosmetics, most of them are akin to wetsuits or playful summer spins. Yeah, which is the problem. You have these characters who were never afraid to show skin, but now, like, they are. Now they've decided we're not gonna show skin at these characters anymore. So here's Loba's on the right side. Loba is showing very little skin. A character that has, you know, appealed to the male gaze, and it's not like you're even getting anything here. So any cleavage she would have, you know how in most games it's like the black bodysuit of death, how they're wearing like black tights or a black undershirt? Well, she's got a white undershirt, and they decided to add that. She's got like this high belt line. It just doesn't look good. They could have at least put her in a skort, because that would make more sense. I know I complain about skorts a lot, but at least that would make more sense, because a lot of women's swimsuits are like that, where it looks like a skirt, but it's actually got that protective layer underneath it. That would have made sense and would have made her look much freaking better. Fuse is wearing long shorts and a t-shirt. Like, he doesn't look anything like he's in a swimsuit. Look at fucking Newcastle over here. That's not a swimsuit. All of these are so boring and just lame. Look at Ramparts. That's not a swimsuit. That's not a summer outfit. She is covered head to freaking toe. It's just so disappointing that not only are they releasing costumes like this, but game journalists have no interest in actually speaking up for the players, because people have been asking for this event for years at this point. And we had kind of high expectations for it, and well, oh no, the journalists, you know, at least they're happy that none of the characters are sexualized. It says it doesn't serve the player or the gameplay experience, with some online sharing a gratuitous source filmmaker mock-up of characters like Loba acting like they've been cheated out of cranking one by the freemium title cosmetic event. It also says that there is no obligation for the game itself to bow into that pressure. It just ain't that horny. Yes, because classic, you know, females can't look attractive anymore, or else you guys are just horny for asking for that. I mean, come on, really? It says, if anything, I appreciate how Apex Legends is able to give its cast a sense of attraction and empowerment without forcing them into provocation. I'm not. I don't appreciate this event. I think they look like trash. They gave, like, no freaking skin to these characters because it's offensive? It says it would have been so easy to go out and bastardize their recognizable portraits and personalities in service of fan service. And it's not exactly unknown in the medium either. Fan service is not a bad thing. Fan service is good. Respawn clearly had fun with each costume, trying to piece together references that fit each legend instead of giving them a sexy bathing suit before calling it a day. Oh no, the thing that people actually wanted. Some are even a bit lazy in their execution, which isn't anything new for Apex, and it says we should be complaining about that stuff, not the lack of cleavage. Yeah, the problem is that there's 10 things to complain about here, but they only complain at the very end. Classic game journalism. Instead of taking this whole article, to voice how players feel and to voice that people are pretty upset with these really shitty cosmetics. No, no, no. Instead, they decided to save the complaining to the very last paragraph because, of course, they don't want to really shit on EA. They like EA, they like Respawn, and they want to simp for them. So, yeah, I thought that I would show you guys this article because it's just another shining example of why we should not ever trust the gamer or really any kind of game journalists. They hate money, they really, really do. And it's so sad because Apex is a fun game at its core. But honestly, I feel like they only put out this swimsuit event because they're getting kind of desperate. Even though the player numbers this season did hit an all-time high, the overall numbers have been doing pretty bad, and the pro scene for this game is also dying. Like, a fourth of the pro teams going into this season, like, left the game. So they're struggling. So I feel like they thought that they would be able to make a shit ton of money off this, being like, oh, you know what, we're just gonna throw at people exactly what they want, but it's not what people wanted. Like, if they actually put good costumes on this, I would buy some of them, even if they're not like super sexualized, because that's not even my number one thing. They just have to look good, but none of these costumes just look good. Skin or no skin, they just look like trash. It's so disappointing. EA sucks. EA does really suck. I still do play the occasional game that they release because some of their titles are still okay, and I have liked Respawn over the years, but it's moves like this that just disappoint me. Yeah, no attractiveness permitted, which is so sucky. Like, I understand, like, Ash, who is a fucking robot, isn't gonna have, like, a bathing suit. Like, that totally makes sense. But for a character like Loba, who, let's be honest, has been sexualized, who does flirt with characters and does have very flirtatious dialogue and does have some attractive outfits, you'd think that she would at least have something that looked generally okay. And hers is just awful. Yeah, everyone is wearing bulky outfits in this. I miss Titanfall. I miss Titanfall too. I liked Titanfall 1 a lot. I didn't get really into number 2, but I did enjoy it. I just wish that they'd focus more on Titanfall. Obviously, Apex is related to Titanfall. And a lot of like the weapons, characters, references are the same, but it's still not exactly the same. I just feel with Apex, they are constantly missing the mark. They just don't know what their player base wants or needs. It just, it sucks. Titanfall 3 needs to be a thing. I know that they were recently working on it was supposed to basically be Titanfall 3, but it was Apex Legends, and they canceled it. Apex Legend, or it was like Titanfall 3 Apex. It was like an Apex, yeah. Furthermore, there are numerous, oh, let me move this over for you. Furthermore, there are numerous articles that Titanfall 3 may have been canceled in favor of Apex, and then we recently heard that basically they were trying to go forward with this idea for Titanfall 3, but it was going to be like an Apex Legends single-player experience. Yeah, it was called Titanfall Legends, and things like this just suck. I want a Titanfall 3. I'd love for them to do more with Apex in general, but unfortunately they just like, they keep dropping the ball. I don't know. It's tough because they do 5 good things, but then they do 8 bad things. I like the game. I like Titanfall, but I also would prefer them not make a Titanfall 3 if it's just going to be half-assed. Titanfall porn? Huh? Uh-oh. What popped up? Titanfall? Is there like an autofill? Oh no. They're all fine. You guys are just weird. That's what Twitter's for. Loba Twitter. You guys know. You guys know. I'm not getting banned today by showing you. So guys, next we get to talk about The Last of Us, which also very controversial. Listen, I liked Last of Us 1 when there was only one Last of Us. But unfortunately, Last of Us Part 2 was just bad. It was really bad. The show had its issues, and now they finally are releasing the long-awaited Last of Us Part 1 PC port. People have been waiting years for this shit, and they're finally launching it. But unfortunately, if you were planning on buying this, you are getting fucked by Naughty Dog yet again, because the port is not going down well on Steam, and it is currently rated mostly negative. If I wanted to play The Last of Us 1, I would just go back to my original copy of The Last of Us 1. I don't need a remake. I don't need a remaster. Last of Us did not need it, and they continue to try to milk off of it, and it's really backfiring for them. So it says the wait is finally over for PC players eager to get stuck into Naughty Dog's acclaimed Last of Us, but things haven't gotten off to a great start for Sony's latest PC port, which currently has a mostly negative rating on Steam. It is the new gen spruce up of the acclaimed 2013 stealth survival horror, initially launched for PlayStation 5 last September, and its long promised PC port finally arrived earlier today following a 25-day delay designed to ensure, as Naughty Dog put it last month, its PC debut is in the best shape possible. And apparently the lie detector has determined that that was a lie, because they did not in fact release it in its best shape possible. It sounds like they knew it was going to have problems. It was in more of a rough spot, a month ago. And they said, oh shit, we at least need another month to try to figure out some of these problems, and it is not going good for them. A month changed absolutely nothing. I personally feel like they rushed this out so that people who were watching the show would buy this new version. I think that the 25-day delay probably hurt them, and they said, you know what, fuck it, we're still gonna launch it after the 25 days because we cannot afford to miss this time frame. It says, though, unfortunately, early word from PC players on Steam is that the best shape is nowhere near good enough, with reviews pointing to a host of technical issues, including inconsistent frame rates, regular crashes, stuttering, long load times, and poor optimization, even on high-end hardware. It's not all doom and gloom, though. As of writing, it has amassed 3,500 reviews on Steam, with 2,300 of those being as not recommended, resulting in an overall mostly negative rating, meaning at least some people seem happy enough. I love this optimism from Eurogamer, saying, yeah, even though like 1,000 of the ratings are positive compared to like the 3,000 others that are negative, at least some of the people are enjoying it. Absolute fucking cope here. Let's head on over to Steam and see what it's sitting at right now. Last of Us Part 1. Yeah, it is sitting at a mostly negative, almost 4,000 ratings at this point. I mean, I didn't even click go to the positives or negatives, and right off the bat, almost all of them are negative. Also on the side, yikes TM. Crashes every 20 minutes. Game is badly optimized. It looks great, just needs to be better optimized. Game crashes a lot. Unplayable. If I wanted to play The Last of Us, like I mentioned, I would just play the original version. I'm not going to give them $50 or $60 or $70 because the original version of the game still looks pretty fucking fantastic. Crash Simulator, Crash Counter number 14. Crash to desktop with error 3. Freeze and killing the task 3. Freeze together with Steam 5. Crash and PC freeze 1. New. Crashes in game 2. I mean, they knew. And that's the scummy thing. They fucking knew that this game had problems. That's why they delayed it by a month. But they told themselves, we cannot afford to miss the show window. People watch the show or are gonna buy this and they're buying copies of the game. We need to sell this as quickly as possible. And this just highlights the issue with new video games. They did not even care that people were gonna spend $60 on this. They just went, yeah, you know what? We're gonna release it. And yeah, it might run like dog shit, but it doesn't matter to us as long as you buy it. That sucks. And yes, PC games being poorly optimized is definitely a trend. We see a lot of games that are brought to PC and they run terribly. Even games that are made for PC end up being bad. Not recommended. Another shoddy port by Iron Galaxy of Batman Arkham Knight in the UC collection with absolutely awful HW utilization, stuttery mouse camera movements, lack of screen dirt effect setting toggle, and general lack of optimization. It's sad because even though I wouldn't buy this, there are people out there who are clearly buying it. People who wanted to give it a chance. People, at least right now, 4,000 who were like, yeah, I'm gonna play this. Why not? It sucks when I have to talk about people basically being scammed out of their money. Hopefully they fix it in the future. Hopefully they actually put some work and effort into it and they really attempt to fix it, but I don't even want to give them that type of leeway and be like, you know what, let's give them a chance because they honestly don't even freaking deserve it. They knew that this game was in bad shape, they knew it was going to launch buggy and broken, and they still released it anyway, which is really, really sad. But, yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about with that. I did want to update you guys, though, on Naughty Dog and The Last of Us. Let's scroll down. You love money and we love your games, so give us more games and take more money from us. What a good review. What a good, helpful review. Thank you for that. Wow, this runs like crap. What? What do you mean it runs like crap? Ay. Let's see, what else are people saying? I am editing this review to summarize my experience with the game. I initially wrote in anger that this was the worst PC port I've ever seen. This is not really the case, but that does not mean the port is a good one either. Aw, what a nice guy. He edited his review. What a cool individual. Very poggers of him. Oh god, what does this say? Naughty Dog has discovered an incredible strategy here. It goes a little something like this. Number 1, release a technological disaster of a game after drumming up hype in pre-orders. Number 2, build shaders in the main menu to run up the clock. Step 3, victim's refund window has almost expired by the time they get in game and realize. Step 4, profit. Ay. Actually fucking true though. I feel like companies do that. It's like you spend an hour and a half downloading a game and all of this shit, but then you actually get into the main menu and it's another half hour for shaders. Like, who the fuck greenlit this? Who okayed this shit? Hoping to see some big names adopting this strategy. Ay. Actually true though. That's what's sad about it. Pre-purchased and preloaded, launched it as soon as it was ready, went to the settings. Yeah, they just, I mean, everybody's complaining about it. Nice dad simulator. Wait until this loser plays the second game. I'm gonna follow his account just to see when he plays the second game and see his bad review. Wait until they fix it. It's unplayable. There might be some of you out there who were like, I was gonna buy this, or I am still gonna buy that, and that's cool. You know, if you want to purchase this, I would definitely suggest waiting now. So yeah, guys, that's all that we really had to discuss with The Last of Us. And next we are going to talk about the X-Files. Yeah, why don't we talk about the X-Files? I know that everyone's pretty upset about this. What game is this review for? Those reviews were for the Last of Us 1 PC port that recently released. So yeah. The Horizon Zero Dawn PC port is exactly like that. Unfortunately, a lot of PC ports are like that. Yeah. I thought Steam, you have 24 hours to refund. On Steam, it's like 2 or 3 hours of game time. After that, they typically do not refund. There are some games, probably like this one, where if you could play like 4 or 5 hours of it, but if there's tons of technical problems, they still will refund you, but typically that window is like 2 hours of playtime. Yes, Silent Hill 2 is getting a remake, unfortunately by Bloober Team, who has a very, very bad track record. X-Files, you kids are too young for that. Okay. Wasn't Horizon fixed? I think after a couple of months it was fixed. Love your content, Vara. Thank you for stopping by. Glad you enjoy. So, chat, this was just announced. Of course, people have been very heated about it online so far. And I must say, I am very, very pissed off to hear about this. And the potential reboot that we are getting, but it says X-Files reboot with diverse cast in development. It says the X-Files is getting the Hollywood reboot treatment with a diverse cast that is in development from Black Panther director Ryan Coogler. The show's creator, Chris Carter, dropped the news on CBC's On the Coast, where it's noted it has been 30 years since X-Files began filming in Vancouver, and that show creator Chris Carter speaks with Michelle about his gratitude to the city, the cast and crew and audience for lifting the hit show. It says, I just spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler. Isn't Ryan Coogler like in his 30s? Anyway, who is going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast. So he's got his work cut out for him because we covered so much territory. Now, obviously, like I have said, having a diverse cast in entertainment is not a bad thing. Diversity is a good thing, right? It is not an instant, like, awful thing. But the problem is that this is what they're leading with. They're not leading with it's a reboot of X-Files that aims to be as close to the original as possible, and they really want it to capture the spirit and the essence of the original. No. Their whole shtick is, well, it's a diverse X-Files. Is that gonna bring past fans in? No, it's not. People want to hear that you are passionate and excited about this and that you care about the original material, but that's not what they're doing here. It says 5 years ago saw the X-Files return with the surprising 10th and 11th season, and an animated spin-off comedy has said to be in development with the X-Files Albuquerque, which Chris Carter is attached to, but the news of the Ryan Coogler X-Files is new. Worth a mention is the property is now owned by Disney through 20th Century Studios, so it seems like they were going down their list of franchises going, what should we reboot? I am personally sick and tired of seeing reboots of things. I want new original content. I love the X-Files. Many people here, I'm sure most of the stream audience loves X-Files, but unfortunately, I would rather them stay away from X-Files for the rest of time if they are not going to respect the original characters and original material. And unfortunately, people have been speculating for years at this point about the future of X-Files, primarily because of Gillian Anderson. Now, of course, I love her. She's beautiful, she's talented, but she has had some hot takes on X-Files before. This was from last year in April. Gillian Anderson discusses X-Files sexism, would only consider revival with a whole new set of writers, which, of course, upset people. It upset me. She's very, very talented. But I have never felt like X-Files was sexist. Most people do not think that, but she has made some pretty progressive statements. It says, let me find it. Anderson received the Variety Icon Award at the Cannes series, where she opened up about the highs and lows of playing Scully. While she acknowledged that many fans view her X-Files character as something of a feminist icon, Anderson revealed that she does not necessarily see it that way. I don't think it was as clear-cut in my mind as being, oh, this is a feminist character. I just think that there was more of just, this is a woman that I haven't seen before on television, and she's so unique. I wouldn't necessarily say that Scully was like the first or last of her kind, but yes, I wouldn't say that she is a feminist character either, but she was, you know, strong in her own right, which of course now is called a feminist character. But it says, while the X-Files was notable for having a female character in such a prominent role at the FBI, she lamented that the show was still a product of its time. Yeah, I see some people mentioning it in chat that she just wanted to get paid. She has been in some very interesting roles over the past few years, which definitely lean into these statements where she's talking about characters being feminist icons and progressive content. It says, though, that I was expected to walk behind him when our characters walked up to the front doors, that the people were investigating. There were things that I rebelled against. When asked about a potential revival, she did not completely close the door, but made it very clear that more X-Files is not a priority for her. I honestly don't expect it to be a priority for her. It's not like they had a clear vision or a clear direction for what they wanted to do with these characters and their stories, but she said that the way that Scully was sent off, where she was revealed to be pregnant, was bizarre and disrespectful to her, saying it just feels like such an old idea. I've done it, I did it for so many years, and it ended on such an unfortunate note. In order to even begin to have that conversation about another season, there would need to be a whole new set of writers, and the baton would need to be handed on for it to feel like something new and progressive. I love her. I think that she is a good actress. Unfortunately, I do not agree with these statements that she has made. And when it comes to new content and reboots and progressive reimaginings, it's hard because I would like more X-Files content. I think most people would love to be able to consume more X-Files content, but I don't think that it would be the same, especially with this. She is not attached to this at all. These statements were made over a year ago. We didn't even know about this reboot until today, so she's not attached to this, but clearly her statements were public, and she did say that X-Files needs to go in a new direction, and all of a sudden they're bringing X-Files in a new direction. I obviously want them to do good with this. I don't want them to completely butcher characters and these stories. We don't know what this is going to, be really about, but they're not leading with they want to make a new X-Files that respects the original material and characters. They're leading with it being a diverse cast, which is instantly a red flag because they are already trying to bank on that. So we'll see in the next few weeks to months what happens, if there are any updates with this. But I'd like to cement my opinions and say X-Files was not sexist. Apparently that's a hot take today. So yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about with that. Obviously, I want them to do a good job, but are they going to? I don't know. Yeah, new and progressive, lots of red flags, a reboot with diverse cast, and that's literally all they say about it. Red flags. Anderson hates Chris Carter. Not surprising, yeah. She's made a lot of statements over the years about X-Files, though. The one that we just read was kind of the most notable, that because it only happened last year. But yeah, just enjoy your money. It's not that difficult. Yeah, I think it's because she is still active in Hollywood. She is picking very specific female roles in Hollywood right now. She was in The Crown. She was in The Great. She's doing a lot of period pieces, which is great. I think that she does awesome in them. But she's definitely picked specific roles over the past couple of years, and she wants to stick in Hollywood, so why else would she be making these statements? She wanted Fox to fire him? Yeah, back when even as she said, back when the last seasons were being made, she had problems with the way that her character was being written and the direction that they took her in. I mean, she even said the way that they sent Scully off was very old-fashioned. Just, yeah. Which, we'll see. I mean, maybe this will turn out to be good. I'd love to be hopeful. I'd love to be positives. I'd love to be positive about this. But it's a red flag when the only thing they are leading with is, oh, it is a diverse cast. Just can't you just give us more information? Can you just mention that at the very end of the article where you're announcing this and just go, oh yeah, and by the way, it's gonna have a diverse cast? Can't you just give us a lot of substance before that so it doesn't feel like this is the only thing you're banking on? Wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm really not. I love X-Files. Many of us here love X-Files, but major red flags here. So guys, next we are going to be moving into one of the final main topics that we have tonight. It is going to be about Silent Hill 2. Some more red flags to raise about the remake and how it is going to upset people. How about create new and original shows? I would love that. I would love for them to just be creative, even for a minute. I would love for them to just make something new. But none of the people in Hollywood have any creative bones in their bodies. They are all they're hacks. That's all that they are. I love Silent Hill 2. I think that most people who have played Silent Hill 2 do love Silent Hill 2, but it seems like the remake might not be as loved as the original. Again, like we were just talking about, how about make something new and original? I love Silent Hill. So many people love Silent Hill. But we don't need everything to get a remake or a remaster or a reboot. Sometimes you can just let the classics exist. That'd be great. But companies want money. And they'll do anything to make that money. And if it means just rebooting something 10 times and repackaging it 10 times, they will. So chat, Silent Hill 2 remake will upset people, says the series writer. You know that it's bad when the writer for Silent Hill says people are gonna be upset. You know it's bad. So it says Sam Barlow, the writer for prior Silent Hill games, is concerned that the Silent Hill 2 remake by Bloober Team cannot be done without upsetting people. Bloober Team is such a miss. Bloober Team does not make great content. And picking them to make the Silent Hill 2 remake truly and genuinely surprised all of us. I remember when we were watching the Silent Hill showcase and they announced this, and we were all fucking shocked. We were excited, and then we heard Bloober, and then instantly any hype wore off. Bloober Team game list, just to go through a couple of really quick. They have had some hits, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they haven't had any, but they've had like one or two. So they did Layers of Fear, which Layers of Fear 1 was really, really good. Layers of Fear 2, people had a lot more criticisms towards. They did Blair Witch, which was, at its core, not bad. It was a good idea for story and mechanics. It just was very poorly executed. And then they also came out with The Medium, which again, at its core, very cool mechanics, very cool atmosphere. Unfortunately, very bad mechanically. I mean, two games that should have been good that were just not because of Bloober's failures. And now, they also did Observer in 2017, which I wouldn't say was extremely positive or extremely negative. It did get generally favorable reviews, but yeah, I mean, there were a lot of outlets that were giving it like 45 out of 100 to 70s out of 100, so it was a pretty neutral game. So while they do have some hits, they also have a lot of misses. But it says, having worked on Silent Hill Origins and Shattered Memories, he is actually excited to see how the developer will change and modernize the classic horror game, but he also believes that doing a remaster of it is like the biggest poison chalice in video games. Bloober Team said it would take a very safe approach to the Silent Hill 2 remake, which, of course, was very, very sad to initially hear. When I think of Silent Hill 2, I think of groundbreaking, I think of revolutionary, I think of different, because Silent Hill 2 was so impactful when it initially released, and to this day you say Silent Hill 2, hey, people remember it instantly. I don't want a safe approach, unless in their mind a safe approach is kind of following the original material. If the term safe approach just referred to them doing a 1-to-1 remake, I would love a safe approach. I am a safe citizen. I will upkeep the safe approach to life, okay? I will enforce safeness. But that's not what they're talking about here. It says, personally, I'm less excited about playing a remaster. It's also like the biggest poison chalice in video games doing a remaster of Silent Hill 2. This isn't a remaster, though. It's a remake. I mean, good luck to them, because I don't know how you can do that without upsetting people. And it is true. I mean, no matter what they do, people are going to be upset. They could change the smallest thing, and people are, of course, going to call it out. It's like there were, of course, individuals who think that me talking about Resident Evil 4 censorship was out of line and we're being dramatic. Yes, but at the same time, we care about that original material and the original game, so of course we are going to call it out. It says, that said, he is excited that Konami is finally using the Silent Hill brand as a platform to have a range of interesting psychological horror games. That is literally what Silent Hill's brand has been from the very beginning. I don't know what they mean. Yes, new Silent Hill would be awesome, but That's what it always has been. It's not like it's brand new. And of course it also says that Konami announced Silent Hill F, which is set in 1960s Japan, and Silent Hill, in addition to the real-time interactive series Silent Hill Ascension. I had no interest in Ascension, but Silent Hill F looked really, really interesting. I personally was pretty fucking hyped when we saw that. I remember I streamed the whole like showcase that they did, and we were having a great time with it. I mean, there were a lot of things to be excited for here, but unfortunately, when they're talking about, you know, a remake upsetting people, that's giant red flags here. I hope that this comes out and it is good. I hope that we do not end up disappointed with it. I do. I really want this to be as amazing as possible. I would love for them to just do a one-to-one remake, but it's Bloober Team, and I don't have a lot of faith that this is going to be as perfect as the original. So guys, those are the main topics that we had to discuss tonight. If you have any you want me to chat about, feel free to put them into the live stream chat. Really quickly, a little self-shilling, never hurt anybody. If you're enjoying the live stream, please take a minute to give it a like. We need like 20 more to hit 100, so take a second to give the stream a like. While you are there, check out the links in the description and the pinned comment of the chat. Consider becoming a member via YouTube memberships, a Dark Titan via Patreon. Consider donating via Streamlabs or, of course, Super Chats. It all does help the channel. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, let me catch up on chat. I still hope for PT to become a full game one day. That's pure cope. It'd be great. Shadow Man, it's not gonna happen. At least I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't foresee it. The new 2023 nurses. Oh, when is this? I believe this is supposed to come out. Actually, I don't think that it has a date. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Does it? Google. Bloober Team clarifies release status about Silent Hill 2. Oh, this was from today. This comes after the president gave an interview last week reportedly saying that the game was technically ready. They released this today. Hold on, let's read it. Oh, I can't. Yeah, you guys aren't going to be able to read this. Well, I guess that's good. As the Bloober Team, like there's others, we don't comment on rumors. However, this time we need to take the floor as some recent statements have been taken out of context due to inaccurate translations. Our company's message did not contain sales forecasts of specific titles. The figures connected to Silent Hill 2 refer to the potential success of the type of game that we will be focusing on in the future. It is also not true that we have announced that Silent Hill 2 is ready for release. Regardless of the development stage, all of our activities are focused on obtaining the highest quality of the finished product. And we are aware that players are waiting for more information. As soon as it becomes available, we are sure that Konami, the publisher of this game, will share it with fans. Okay, so absolutely fucking nothing. You guys get crumbs of information here. Yeah, they have not given an official release date. I think the end of 2023, early 2024 was sparked because last October during the showcase, they had shown it off. So people kind of assume that they'd release it probably within like a year to a year and a half. So, yeah, no release date right now, but I think it's safe to assume that it'll come out like 2024. But, yeah. What about the Bloober Team? Yeah, I don't know what they're up to lately. Let me scroll up. So they'll be 800 pounds with blue hair and hipster glasses. Suddenly I want to dye my hair brown or black and not wear glasses anymore. Even though you said blue, it's just... you know, a little too close. There's no need to change anything other than the graphics. I would say that if they updated the combat to be smoother and more, I guess, technically sound, they could do that. But yes, besides like minor combat updates and then graphic updates, they shouldn't change anything. Like they should have all of the dialogue be exactly just new recording. The music, same exact music, but updated. All of the areas be the same. All the mobs be the same. There doesn't need to be drastic changes made to this. What about Outlast? They haven't really done much with Outlast. They're doing Outlast trials. Last October, around Halloween, they did the beta for Outlast trials. But that was... I remember I tried the beta off stream and I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. It had a lot of technical issues. It says planned release date May 18th, so in 7 weeks Outlast Trials releases. Maybe they've fixed it up a bit, which would be awesome. I have no current plans to play it or live stream it, but maybe at the end of the year, during the Halloween season, we can play it. What's your zodiac sign? I am a Scorpio. Yes. Yeah, coming out in May. So, I mean, that's what they're up to with Outlast right now, but it's a co-op game, and I think people were hoping for a single-player title, because I don't think there's any single-player with Outlast Trials. Outlast Trials. I believe it's strictly a 4-player game. I believe... Let's see... first person, early access is Outlast Trials 4-player. Yes, you have to team. It is... Oh, it does say you can do them solo. But it's a game that's designed to be with 4 players, so... it probably plays a hell of a lot better when you have all the players. Yeah, it's a co-op. I like co-op games, but too many games now are co-op. Another iffy decision. But yeah, if you guys have any topics you'd like me to discuss before the end of stream, let me know. Also, we need 10 more likes to hit 100. Just take a second out of your day and like the gosh darn stream. Thank you. Unfortunately, Western entertainment lacks originality compared to Japan's work, which are more diverse by genre and character designs. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some Western entertainment that's great, but there's a big difference. What do you think of the Resident Evil 4 remake? So far, it's been pretty good. We should be finishing it this Thursday, guys. Maybe. Or if we don't finish it on Thursday, we'd be finishing it on Saturday, because I'm not rushing through it. It's been enjoyable. Some differences. Nothing too major. For me, though, it does bother me because small things do add up. But it is, combat-wise, been really good. Story-wise, solid. It's been fun. We're like halfway through it, or right around there, so either be finishing it on Thursday or on Saturday. And guys, tomorrow evening I will be doing the supporter stream, so if you are a member here on YouTube, if you are a Dark Titan via Patreon, if you are a supporter of the channel, you do get access to the supporter stream. So we'll be doing that for about an hour to an hour and a half tomorrow evening. If you are a supporter, make sure to join the Discord or on Patreon on the thread. If you have any comments for me, like if you have any discussions you want me to have, any questions, topics, feel free to leave them in one of those 2 places so that I can see. And also, I'll be posting it in the community tab here on YouTube, So you can leave them there as well. Ada's voice is too deep. I am really disappointed that that they changed the voice actress. I liked Ada's voice actress from the 2 remake. I thought that she was great, and then they changed it in this one, and I don't think that she's got that voice actress has an awful voice. It just doesn't fit Ada, in my opinion. But I feel like all of the other voices are pretty good. I haven't had any other criticisms besides Ada's. And she's not a main character because she only pops up a couple of times in it, so yeah. She's voiced by the Hogwarts bartender. That's mean. That's mean. Did you hear about PETA? I did hear about PETA. A horse died on the set of Rings of Power, and now PETA is demanding that they no longer use real animals. That they do not use real horses. They want horses out of jobs. I cannot believe that they would advocate for that. I mean, obviously it's sad that the horse died, that the horse passed away. We don't know what it was from. Apparently there was like a big kind of battle scene, and there were there's like 100 horses in the shot or something. So it's sad, but the horse could have just been older or kind of sick. We don't know exactly. Unless there's been an update to that, which there could have been. Rings of Power horse. You know what? I'm gonna keep that off the screen for a minute. Just in case something suspicious pops up, because I don't fucking trust the internet. It says PETA condemns Rings of Power producers after horse dies on set of the Lord of the Rings spin-off. The animal rights group PETA, that's great, they really care about animals when they're not killing them. I'm sorry, that was too far. Has condemned the use of live animals on set after a horse died. It had cardiac arrest while the fantasy spin-off was rehearsing for its 2nd season. It died of cardiac failure. I mean, I'm sorry, but plenty of people die of that. Plenty of animals die of that. Unless you can prove that they did something to this animal. It's like, okay. We are deeply saddened to confirm that a production horse died. These fucking bitches. Does the horse not have a name? Fucking say the horse's name, you shitheads. Don't let the horse die and not even have its name. So rude. The incident took place in the morning whilst the horse was being exercised prior to rehearsals. So it wasn't even on, like, set. It was during just the exercise routine. So it's not like the horse had been out all day and was being pushed at limits. It says the trainer was not in costume and filming had yet to commence. Both a veterinarian and a representative were present at the time. It was standing near 20 other horses when its heart stopped. I mean, obviously this is sad, but PETA wants to complain about anything. I'm honestly shocked that PETA has not complained more about video games over the past couple of months. But yeah, I mean, rest in peace, the horse, who doesn't have a name, apparently. Poor horse. Dies of shame. I know that. Oh, I'm not laughing. Horse is dead. That's sad. Yeah, I mean, if I was part of Rings of Power, unless I was getting a fat paycheck, I would also die of embarrassment, so I feel bad for the horse. It says all horses used in the 2nd season were provided by the Devil's Horsemen. I'm sorry, that is an off. I'm sorry. I think that maybe you should change your company name. The company has also worked with Game of Thrones and The Crown, as well as Hollywood productions such as the Justice League and Transformers. It's not like they you know, hired this like half-ass production company that probably doesn't take care of their horses. Like, yes, ultimately, I'm sure that there are individuals who are in this industry who do not take care of the stunt animals, which is really fucking depressing to think about. But there's no way that all of these major companies would work with this team if they were treating their animals like shit and the animals were sick and had a lot of problems. So I don't think that it's the Rings of Power team's fault. I don't think that it's this company's fault. It just sounds like, unfortunately, the horse was probably a little bit older, the horse was strained, and it passed away. Classic PETA is going to attack this, though, and they are going to, you know, shit on this as much as possible. But, yeah, I mean, it's sad, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not sitting here saying I'm gonna boycott movies just because they have real animals in them. As long as the animals are being taken care of by the companies that do own them, that's what matters. Animals, like people, get older and get sick. And speaking of another horse, guys, I don't know if you heard, but Frosk is off Twitter. Very fun segue. I wanted to mention this really quick since we're about to wrap up stream in a couple of minutes. I don't know if you guys heard, but Frosk has now completely erased her Twitter. This account no longer exists, and I can't say that I'm surprised. She said months ago that she was leaving the industry and it was very big and dramatic. And then after that, she said that she was doing a couple of interviews, and she did like a couple of interviews and discussions with people. And now she is gone from the internet. I won't miss her. I'm sure most of you will not miss her. You know what? I'm going to miss her bad takes. Theater had made a joke the other night about it. Theater, can you retell your joke? Because I don't remember exactly how it went. I'm about to butcher it. But it was basically that she is, her Twitter account is now as relevant as it was when it was still up. Which I appreciate. That really stuck with me. It's not that, like, she was suspended. She simply removed it herself, it seems. My problems with Frosk are not just that she had some really shitty opinions. My problems were also that she was very, very rude to people who did not agree with her all the time. As you remember, I'm sure, one of the major reasons why I personally did not like her and had little respect for her, besides, of course, on like a general human level, was that she complained about how, people were being so mean to her, and she wanted to do interviews with people, and then she claimed that no one who was against her would do interviews, and then she put out a fake email for people to email, to respond to. I think it was Rover's joke. I could have swore it was yours. Oh, I'm very sorry, Rover. I don't think you're here. Maybe he'll see this. I humbly apologize to Rover. Could have swore it was Theater. Either way, this account is now irrelevant. I don't think I'm going to have to talk about Frosk ever again, which is great. But, yeah, everybody put an F in chat for Frosk's account. Not that we will miss it, but that it is now gone. I'll take the credit though. It was Robert? Oh, I don't know. I think you guys are baiting me. You can take credit. I'll give credit to both of you. What if Frosk wasn't a real person? Frosk was definitely a real person. And nothing of value was lost. That is very true. But yeah, alright guys, I'm going to be wrapping up stream in a minute. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you have had a fun time tonight. We talked about Frosk, Silent Hill 2, X-Files, Last of Us, PETA, Daisy Ridley, a little Apex, and Shazam 2. Like I said, tomorrow evening, I will be live streaming again. I will be doing the supporter only stream. So if you want to join that, become a member of our community and help support my content and the channel because YouTube doesn't seem to like it, check out the links in the description. Become a Dark Titan via Patreon. We have tiers for just $1 a month, and you get access to the content. Become a member via YouTube memberships. You get a badge next to your name. I do like and respond to the comments on things like videos. You get access to special emotes here on YouTube. And tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing the supporter stream. If you have any topics, feel free to leave them in the Discord server or on any of the threads where I've posted about the stream. And then the next normal stream will be on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be continuing our playthrough of the Resident Evil 4 Remake. We might be finishing it, but if we do not finish it on Thursday, we will be finishing it over the weekend, and we will be finishing it on Saturday. So we'll see. I mean, only time will tell. I'm not rushing through it. It is like roughly 15 to 17 hours for people from what I've read. But yeah, check out the links in the description. Follow me on social media. Also, guys, yeah, check out today's videos if you have not already seen them. I hope that you enjoyed the live stream. On your way out, give it a like if you enjoyed. Give it a dislike if you didn't. But yeah, more videos tomorrow, live stream, more content like normal. So thank you all so much for being here and for stopping by, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.